Hello there, my lovely darklings and metal mystics. Welcome back to another episode of Metal Mealtime, where today I will be making mint chocolate chip ice cream or mint cacao nib ice cream, because instead of cream or typical dairy treats, I'm going to be using some frozen bananas. A lot of them, really. I don't even know how many bananas there are in here, but there are a ton, and I plan on using either as much as possible or all of them. I'm so excited to be creating this lovely tasty treat for you all today because it is so good. It's the summertime here in Baltimore, and this is something that I love to make, not even just for the summer, especially as someone who likes to eat a lot of raw plant-based foods. This is perfect to get my fruits in. And who doesn't love mint chocolate chip ice cream, especially when it feels guilt-free or it's actually delicious and nutritious. So let's get started, shall we? So let's go over the ingredients. So once again, as I said, I have a bunch of frozen bananas, nothing special, nothing fancy. I just took a ton of ripe bananas, pieced them up and put it into a container and left it in my fridge for a few days, actually over the weekend while I was out with family at the beach. And I have my blender here, a high-speed blender. Whatever you have is perfect. I know that Vitamix blenders are amazing for banana and ice cream because it is the highest of all speeds, but mine should work. I have a few tricks up my sleeve in case the bananas start clumping a little bit too much. I also have some spinach here for color. Spinach doesn't really taste anything if you're somebody who likes smoothies like I do. I have a smoothie pretty much every day. I add spinach, spring mix, kale, all those types of greens to it, not only for the nutritious aspect, but you can't even really taste it. So I always like to add a lot of spinach, not only just to get, once again, my minerals in, but it adds a nice green color, so we actually feel like we're eating mint chocolate chip ice cream rather than just like a mint flavored wad of banana that's cold. So yes, I have my spinach right here. I also have some cashews that I have been soaking for the past couple of hours. You can definitely soak some nuts of your choice overnight. I like to use cashews because it gives it a little bit more of a creaminess, and this is supposed to be ice cream, right? So the creamier the better. And speaking of cream, I have some coconut milk, or you can probably even call it coconut cream at this point. It's from a can. I typically don't like to use canned products, but I just put it in a can, put it in a glass container, because apparently that's how you're supposed to do it. After you open up a can of coconut milk, you put it in a glass or plastic container and leave it in the fridge for a few days. I did not know that. I've left it in the can for a long time. Glad I know what I know now. So yes, I'm going to use the rest of this coconut milk. This should be a little less than a cup, but it doesn't really matter. I don't really follow a lot of recipes. I do what feels right, what it feels intuitively correct. So whatever that will be put into the blender. I also have an avocado that is like all the way ripe. It is so ripe. It will be great to use it today. Once again, I left it over the weekend accidentally. I was supposed to bring it with me so I could use it for salads that I was going to be eating for dinner while I was away. But I totally forgot about it, and it's been like basically rotting here at home. But it looks like it should be fine. We'll open it up and see. I would like to add this also for color, but avocado adds a great texture to everything, so I wouldn't mind adding this just for that as well. I also have some dates, some organic pitted dates. Also, just a heads up that everything here is organic. I always prefer organic, non-GMO, whole plant foods. So please do the best of your ability. No worries, no pressure. But that's just how I've cultivated my lifestyle. And I also recommend the same, once again, to the best of your ability. But yes, I have some organic pitted dates. These are decadent Nour. I typically like to use medjool dates. I actually do have medjool dates, but I didn't feel like soaking them, and that would have taken a while. And these decadent Nours, we got them at a local convenience store over in the beach where we were at, and these are really juicy. Anyone who knows dates knows that decadent Nours can kind of be a little bit on the dry side. It's really the medjools that are nice and moist, but these are really juicy dates, so I had to put them in here. I also have my cacao nibs unsweetened. I don't like to add any extra sugars, especially refined sugars to anything. I'm sure if it was added to this, it'd be like a raw cane sugar or a turbinado or something like that. But I like it unsweetened. I honestly, me and my husband, not only do we like really spicy food and really spicy peppers and all that type of stuff, we love dark chocolate, like all the way dark, like 90%, maybe even 99% dark cacao, all that type of stuff. I want it to be tasting like crayons, basically. That's how dark we like our chocolate. So this tastes like right up our alley, what we actually like anyway. So I definitely recommend the unsweetened variety. And as far as my spices, I'm not calling this a spice, but this is kind of an add-on. It is our ground flaxseed, once again organic. And that's just for nice fiber. It doesn't have to be in here, but I always like to add flaxseed meal or things of that variety for protein, fiber, just a little extra something something. And for my actual spices, I have cinnamon, I have nutmeg, I have turmeric, because I honestly add turmeric to everything. I add it to my savory and my sweet foods, my smoothies and my salads. It's good for anti-inflammatory things, it's healthy, it's tasty in my opinion, nice and earthy, so why not? And of course I cannot forget the mint extract, just like a typical organic peppermint extract, nothing fancy, nothing special, but kind of, because adding mint to smoothies, even just berry smoothies, does make it fancy and does make it special in my opinion. And of course some vanilla extract, because that just adds all the sweetness to it. That really picks up the flavor of something that's really sweet. And I'm going to add a little pinch of sea salt to it when I put it into the blender, because you have to balance that sweetness with a little bit of salt. So let's get started. I'm going to put everything into my blender. So I'll be starting out with the coconut milk. So I'm just gonna give it a nice little shake, shaking it like I mean it. And I'll just pour the rest of it in here. Yeah, why not? And then I'll discard of this and rinse it off later. And I'm going to rinse my cashews and put that in there as well. And then get onto the bananas. Help me with that, because I'm gonna have to put my elbow into this. All right, so I'm going to be adding my cashews to it. Nice and soaked. That aside, and let us get into the bananas. So this is going to once again take a little bit of an elbow, because they are all frozen solid together, and my husband's also out of town and he usually helps me with this. So let's see what I can do. All right, so far so good. Luckily I let them sit out for just a second as I was talking, doing this video, and I feel like that really helped. Very grateful for that, because this is cold, it's hard, and it could easily become a struggle. Okay, so I may stop there because that's already a lot of bananas. If I could probably guess, I probably used about maybe 10. Let's see. All right, and I'm about to add my decadent nor dates. I'm probably going to put in about 3 or 4. And this is just my alternative to it being sweetened. Obviously, this is going to be sweetened anyway, because it's bananas. Bananas are fruit is sweet, or at least most of them are sweet. But adding dates adds another like softer texture as well. I can't explain it, but I love the texture of dates and banana and ice cream. But once again, it's going to add like a deeper, like more mapley, syrupy flavor to it, which I love. And now I'm going to be adding the spinach. This should probably be about, I don't know, 2 cups, maybe 3. Okay, great. So I'm about to add the dry things. I'm going to add some flaxseed meal, just a tablespoon. Nice. And then I was going to add this avocado, and I kind of am thinking about it. I actually may. So let's crack it open and see what's up. Let's do this together, because I have no idea. But I love avocado, so it would be fantastic if it was good enough for this. Ooh, awesome. Not that bad. I really thought it was going to be horrible. I was almost terrified of what I was going to find. But this avocado looks great. So yeah, let's add some of that in here. All right, so it's gonna add some color and maybe a little bit of flavor. I mean, this is going to be as flavorful as possible. Like, there's no way this is not going to have a great flavor. The avocado mint, I usually like to have avocado mint smoothies, like with some frozen berries and all that type of jazz. But I know that with this, it's gonna taste great as well. And it's going to give it an extra beautiful green color. Can't go wrong with that. And now that I have used the avocado, luckily, I'm just going to put the rest of that, the scraps, into compost. I love to compost, especially since I eat a lot of produce. And I just put it in a compostable bag in my freezer and take it out when it gets full. Also, my sister, who lives with me temporarily right now, is also of the raw, plant-based, holistic eating variety. And we both compost together, especially since she juices all the time. So it's a pretty sweet deal. Goes back into the earth. Once again, can't go wrong with that. So now I'm going to add in some more dry ingredients. I'm going to save the cacao nibs probably for last, just because I want to sprinkle it afterwards. But I also want to put a little bit in, just so it can really be nice and chocolatey. Okay, so just putting in all my seasonings, turmeric included. And with things like this, you can't really even taste the turmeric, but I don't really care. Once again, I like the flavor. Vanilla extract. Just putting a little bit of a capful in there. Nice. And now onto the main ingredient, peppermint extract. And as we all know, mint can be really strong, so we want to put a little bit in there. I know this is quite a large batch for ice cream, so I may do a little bit more than usual. So I would probably even say it's about like a little over a teaspoon and a half. All right, so a little bit of sea salt, not too much. And then let's add in a few cacao nibs. Okay, so I'm gonna still take my tablespoon measurer to put it in there. I'll do a little bit less than a tablespoon though, and add a lot more later. Okay, so now that we have everything in here, let's blend it up and see how it goes. My blender is pretty good, but it is not a Vitamix. Still grateful, still appreciative of everything. And also, before I blend, just making sure that I'm setting my intention, putting my love, my care, my compassion into my food, my light into my food, so it can come back to me, all that peace, all that joy. So yes, I'll even do that before I eat, but I like to do that as I eat, just like putting once again, my intention, my good energy, and my sweetness into this already sweet food. So once again, the sweetness can come back to me times 1,000. All right. Let's do this. I'm gonna blend it on high, and I'm gonna have to use this butter knife to possibly help me move things around, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's go. All right, so now it looks like it's getting nice and green, nice and thick, and my blender is taking to it pretty well, so that is a great sign. So let me just blend it up a little bit more and pour it into the bowl, probably add a little bit more cacao nibs. Yeah, I'll probably put it in the bowl, but I am really excited. This is looking good so far, y'all. Okay, so this is looking and smelling really good. So let us just pour it into the bowl, add some cacao nibs to it. And I actually may add the cacao nibs again to the blender itself so I can mix it in there better. Even though you could definitely do it in the bowl, but there's just something that feels more stable doing it in the blender for now, and I will do that. Whoopsies, dropped a few. Definitely am going to clean later. Actually, I always do. I like to clean as I go, and I suggest the same. So maybe just a little bit more. I'll blend it in the blender with my spoon, not really using the blender itself since I already put in some cacao nibs before, and they are definitely chopped up nice and fine in the nice cream. Beautiful. So let me just pour out a little bit right now and show you all what is going on here. Oh wow, this is going to be amazing. I don't even know what to say. The green is absolutely perfect. I'm glad I added the avocado. Oh, I'm so happy the avocado worked. Yes. Oh yeah, this is going to be nice. And I probably could have foregone the spinach, maybe. I can sense that the texture is a little bit more different than usual. It's probably from the flaxseed as well, but I think that's going to be a-okay. I'm probably going to put this back in the freezer since the bananas did sit out for quite some time as I was talking. So can't blame anything else but that. But I definitely recommend freezing this for a little longer. I'm not gonna have this just yet. I already had breakfast and I'm going to eat this for my post-workout meal. I am definitely going to the gym right after I film this, and I'm very, very excited to come back home to this. And obviously saving some for my husband because I know he is so excited for this. Who wouldn't be? Coming home to some mint chocolate chip or mint cacao nib ice cream. So, so yummy. So I may add a few more cacao nibs on top as a garnish, just because, oh, it already just looks so beautiful. Nice and green. Oh, thank you avocado, thank you spinach. So yes, I'm going to add a little bit more cacao nibs on top, just as a garnish. Of course, I would love to have used some fresh mint as a garnish, but what can you do? Gotta work with what I got. So y'all, add a few more just with my clean hands. And I'll stop there and we'll do the taste test. Okay, so I just added a few more because this is chock full of cacao nibs. I don't want to overdo it, even though I don't mind because I, once again, love chocolate. So let's just do a little taste test, shall we? All right. Okay. And once again, as I'm just swirling things around and looking, I'm putting my energy back into my food, setting my intention, giving thanks, giving deep gratitude. All right, beautiful texture. Oh my God, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. I'm so, so happy because not only did the texture turn out really well with me adding avocado. I've never really added avocado to banana and ice cream before. I mean, I've added it to smoothies when it was intended for smoothies, maybe even smoothie bowls, but this is still the perfect texture of the what bananas give off to make it feel like ice cream or make it taste like ice cream. I added the perfect amount of mint without measurement, so I'm very grateful for that. Cacao nibs, need I say more? Naturally delicious. And everything is combined so well. Once again, as much as spinach doesn't even really have much of a flavor, you can't really taste it, and it still has that beautiful green that we wanted from the avocado and the spinach. So I definitely highly recommend this if you haven't already. And this is pretty simple. Like, you can even use less or a little bit more if you want to with certain things. But I highly encourage, urge, and motivate you to make your own banana and ice cream of any variety. I'm definitely going to make more other flavors because I don't just stop at mint chocolate chip ice cream, but it is just one of the best flavors, especially for the summer. So now we reached the end of this episode of Metal Mealtime. Thank you so much for watching. Much love, and until next time, my lovely darklings and metal mystics. Bye-bye.